Welcome to General Admission. Today is August 17th. We are back. We have some shows to talk about. A new Front Bottoms album that we are very excited about. New singles, lots of good stuff.
And you went to a shit ton of shows since our last call. Last podcast, excuse me.
I did go to a few shows also, and I have thoughts on these shows that well, hold on. Obviously I have thoughts. That's the whole point of this shit. Um I'm realizing now I wore this shirt the last time we recorded, so people are gonna think I'm homeless, but it's a very comfortable shirt.
Wait, is your shirt gonna change for the front bottom part?
Yeah, yeah, it
Okay.
will change for the front boss part, which we recorded early because we just couldn't wait to talk about that. But I realized something with band shirts, and I guess just shirts in general. But I always thought I was looking for 100% cotton shirts because you get some band shirts and they fit good, they're comfortable, and then you get some that are like too stretchy or like the arms fall weird, like, and it's hard to know all this at the merch table. So I've a lot of band shirts that I really have no intention of ever wearing because they stink. Not the bands, the shirt. But this one,
Like smell wise?
oh yeah, they stink. No, no, I'm just kidding.
I think that
No,
is
they fit funny.
okay.
I don't like the material. I don't like the wear. But this one, shout out Jaw Dust, is very comfortable. And I think I found the key here. It is 100% cotton, but it's 100% heavy cotton.
So you need a heavy cotton shirt.
I think you need heavy. I think so. Because this is loose. It's thick. Like it's just good. It's not one of those, some of these, the collars rip. Like, don't even get me started on polyester. Polyester shirts are trash. I will never, ever buy a band shirt that's polyester. I don't care if the Beatles come back to life and sell merch at a show. If that shit's polyester, I'm out. And now I might be out on regular cotton too. I think you need heavy cotton.
Who would have known it's the heavy things you could not see?
Heavy shirts fall down on me. Yeah. So
Always a way to get there.
always. So in case anyone was tuning in for fashion advice, heavy cotton is where it's at. Unless you like loose, thin, shitty shirts, then I guess go with polyester, non-heavy cotton, but definitely want heavy cotton.
But koozies, it doesn't matter what the material is, correct?
It doesn't. I don't have standards for koozies, but there are better and worse koozies. Like some of these when it just feels like the logo's been like ironed on. The things like a sock. Like, but as long as the koozie's $5, I don't care on the quality. If you're gonna sell me a $10 koozie, we might have to start thinking
We passed
about
on that the
about
Less Than
quality.
Jake show.
We did $10 koozie. Like, come on.
It was
Respect.
cool looking, but I'm not paying $10 for a koozie.
No, inflation is just out of control. I can't even keep my beer. It doesn't these
Chilled.
these koozies don't they I think they warm your beer. Bands are gonna start selling Yeti koozies, just like hard metallic koozies. Now that,
For like 30.
yeah, I mean, we could start talking about 20, $30 if you're gonna sell me a screw top good koozie. Because I like alternate merch. Because how many shirts can you fit in a drawer?
This is true.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
You can never have
overflowing on
enough koozies
t-shirts.
though.
Exactly. Exactly. Although I am amassing quite a amount of koozies. I realized the other day you just throw a koozie in the wash and like it cleans it real nice. I don't know why I thought the wash machine would just destroy it, but it doesn't because it's just
Depends on the koozie, maybe.
yeah, maybe. But I cleaned a bunch of koozies that smelled like stale beer and they're all looking good. I don't know about putting them in the dryer. I let them air dry. I'm scared of the dryer.
I don't know how Koozie Greenberg would be in the dryer.
No, it would probably melt off the text.
Just say green on a green koozie.
uh we're back. I like these episodes. I did go to some shows since we last talked. Because what we had our Town Liar interview last week,
We
which
did
was
an
which was
awesome interview.
yeah, those guys were great. Um, so yeah, we haven't really talked in a couple weeks.
It's been a really slow, I don't know if it's year or just summer with like releases. Like I know we'll get to front bottom soon, but I just feel like we haven't had much new music wise to talk about this summer.
Yeah, nothing that like I've been like loving. There's albums that we've talked about that I like for like a couple weeks or a month. Like I don't know, The Used comes to mind. Like I enjoyed that album, but I haven't gone back to it. Like it's hard. I don't know if it's because we're getting older or what, but it's hard to get albums to stick, or we just haven't had like amazing releases this year. I don't know.
I think that's it. And part of it's probably this book that we're reading too, because I feel like all my like end of year stuff is gonna be from like 1999 to 2008.
Yeah, it's great. I was listening to like early My Chem, like I brought you my bullets today.
I listened to that for the first time today, believe it or
Dude,
not.
how good is it? I mean, it's raw, but like it's good.
I can't believe I've been sleeping on it
Yeah. Like
because
I
they still
mean,
play a lot of those live, right?
yeah, they played like 3 or 4 when I saw them, even though I'm still kind of salty about that show. Those songs were good though. They did play Vampires Will Never Hurt You. I think that's the name.
Drowning Lessons is a good one. Head
Yeah.
First for Halos,
Yeah. We
Demolition Lovers.
yes. Yeah, they played that for sure when I saw them. We slacked a little on reading this week, so we're gonna book club next week. Um, yeah, I wound up watching Rings of Power for some reason, even though I'm like a year late on that. So, so you could blame Amazon for me not reading as much as I should have.
And me for like not starting a new chapter until I listened to the album talked about in previous chapter.
Hey, you're doing it right. This is a fine wine. It should be sipped, not chugged, even though I chugged it the first weekend.
But now you're
And
going back, so
yeah, and I'm actually like looking at who's talking and stuff, which has been cool.
that's
Um,
another part. Like if I didn't have to do that, I feel like I'd power through this much quicker.
yeah, it's way easier with the physical book for sure.
It's
Even though
very
I'm
because I have to keep opening my phone because I take pictures at the beginning.
yeah,
Even though I'm
it's
pretty sure I could probably bookmark it on Kindle too, but
because sometimes it's like, who is this person and why should I care? And then it's like, oh, they sold stickers once. It's like, oh, so I don't have to care.
yeah. Or it's like, oh, they're from the label that's going to eventually sign them.
Yeah, that's a little more interesting. So what shows have I guess Phish was first. Um,
You kind of went to it's in the conversation for best show of the Garden Run.
yeah, I got pretty lucky with that one. Um, it was a great time. Went with my Uncle Mike, who like kind of got me into Phish. Um, met some friends, Jordan and Rich. We had some beers at Stout and got to the show. There was a dude from um like Atlanta sitting behind me. It was his first time at the Garden, and he said he goes to all the Alpharetta shows. So I was I
You
was
spoiled.
I was jealous, but I was happy for him to see the mothership for sure.
Curious which one he thought was better. Probably Alpharetta because it's outside, right? If I had to guess.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really get into it that way because we talked like before the show anyway, but he seemed pretty stoked to be in the Garden. I think we take it a little for granted because it's in
It's
our
right here.
backyard, but if you're traveling to the Garden, you're definitely like in awe, I would think for
They do
sure.
save their best for those shows.
Yeah,
I
they
feel
bring
like
it. They don't really half-ass it at the Garden. They covered I Am the Walrus at my show, which was very cool. I got it on like the very first like piano chord. I was very proud of myself. Yeah, it was a good time. And then we like booked it out of there after the encore because we wanted to catch the train. And we get to the train because we park in Sea Caucus and then take the train out of the city from there because it's
a lot
easier.
easier.
Yeah, because every train hits Secaucus. You don't have to worry about like waiting an hour. But we're on the train and we're talking about where we're gonna get food. My uncle's like, oh, like let me check if like this diner by me is open because it is a Tuesday night. So like it was like after 12 at this point or like around 12. And he doesn't have his phone. Yeah, no
Was it at the
phone,
garden?
no phone. So now he's like, he's freaking out, which like rightfully so. He also doesn't have an iPhone, and I'm not trying to start a debate here, but apparently with not like with an iPhone, if you just get a new one and like log into your shit, like it's all there. And
Yeah.
apparently that's not the norm for other phones. So he's like worried about losing like everything. So he was significantly more stressed. And he's like, I gotta go back. I gotta go back. And he's my ride. And like, I don't want to get off this train and go back to the garden after midnight. I don't even know if they'll let us in, if it's even at the garden. So I'm like trying to talk him out of it, somewhat selfishly, but also like I feel like those are decent points. And finally the train starts moving. So I'm like, all right, we're in the clear here. So we're trying to call it, no one's answering. And he's like, they're not even gonna be able to see anything because like they don't know my passcode and stuff. And some like other fish head on the train is listening to us. And he's like, oh, just like text it your number, as in my number, and say if you find this phone, call, 201, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, they'll see that on the lock screen. Like, oh, that's a really good idea. So we do that, and sure enough, we get to our next stop, and my phone rings, and it's like like a 917 or whatever New York is, area code. And it's just some kid. He's like, "Hey man, I work at the garden and I'm like cleaning up and I found this phone." And he's like, What do you want me to do with it?" He's just like a clueless kid. And my uncle's like, "Tell him I will Venmo him $100 if he mails that to me." So I'm like, "Oh, like, can you mail it?" He's like, "How?" I tell him just go to like a UPS store and like mail it. He's like, "All right." He's like, "I'll do it in the morning. There's one of those like next to my apartment." So my uncle's like freaking out. And the kid seemed sincere. Like he seemed just clueless enough that like I didn't feel like he was full of shit or anything. He was like, all right. He's like, he said he works till like 5 a.m. So they must just clean the garden all night.
Like head to toe.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just so like fans can come back in and like destroy it again. But creating jobs, fish, one show by one show. Um, and yeah, he mailed it. My uncle got it. He Venmoed the kid $100. I couldn't
That's
believe
a
it.
wild. Again, this is like another only fish story. Like any other concert, I'm not sure he sees his phone again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have no idea. I did believe the kid, like I said, but it was still kind of amazing that he actually got it back. And also one more story about the show, and then we'll move on to other shows. Um, so Nicole had like COVID 2 weeks ago, and I didn't, but like, I live with her. And so my uncle's a little nervous. He's like, "Hey, like, you think we could just stop at like Walgreens and you could do like a quick test? This way I'll just feel better for the show." Like, and he wanted to like share my joint. I think that was like his primary reasoning was so we could share a joint. So I'm like, all right, like, sure, whatever. So we stop at Walgreens on our way to the train station, and I'm sticking the thing up my nose, I'm swirling it around, and then I put it in this little jar it comes with, and it's sitting there. And we look at each other and we're like, hey, look, it's a sample in a jar, which is a Fish song for anyone who doesn't know. And we're like, well, they're definitely gonna play this tonight now. And they played it, and they played like the longest one they've ever played.
They jammed
They
it.
jammed it, which they never jam that song. That's always like a 3 to 5 minute like puncher. And yeah, I think they even opened with it, which was just like so funny. They also played Sneaking Sally Through the Alley, and my aunt, his wife's name is Sally. So just like little things like that, like just I don't know, make me smile. But the
Like when they
sample in
played
a
"You Enjoy
jar,
Myself" at my first one.
yes, that was amazing. After you ending every show for like half a year with "Would you please job independence?" Yeah, I just love all those little things like that surround the show. Like I don't feel it as much with other bands, but I probably don't think about it as much with other bands. So
And we'll have the New Year's run go up soon ish, right?
The announcement.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I think
like September.
September, I think usually. I should probably know this, but yeah, sometime in the fall. So we'll get on that. I'm thinking I'm just gonna put in for every day and then sell ones off because it's so easy to sell those tickets. Like, yeah. And we have both of us going in, so should be pretty good chance for
Yeah.
Lotto.
What are the odds twice in 1 year to hit Lotto?
I don't know. The same
We'll
odds
find
as
out.
yeah. And then I also went to Metallica and Pantera and Mammoth Mammoth Van Halen. His name's Wolfgang, but I think the band's called Mammoth.
Is it Mammoth VH or Mammoth?
Yeah.
Is it
I just
VH?
kept calling him Wolfgang Van Halen, but I don't that's definitely not the band's name. I'm a little confused by that,
Mammoth
but
WVH.
uh Mammoth Wolfgang Van Halen. Yeah, I don't know, but I only caught like the last two or three songs because traffic on a Friday was like a disaster getting there. But they were great. They were more, I hear like the Van Halen name and I feel like in my head he's just gonna like be a shredder and that's it. But it was way more like song structure and like just like rock music with solos. Like it was different than what I was expecting, but I did enjoy it. It was good.
Been meaning to go listen to him, but I haven't actively like seeked it out and put it on yet.
Yeah,
Searched it out.
I think you'd be pleasantly surprised because that was how I felt anyway. But yeah, Metallica was awesome. I mean, they're Metallica. They're built for this stuff.
I've
Like
never seen them before,
it
unfortunately.
they're worth seeing, like 100%.
That
This
stage looked insane.
yeah,
That
dude.
giant circle.
It was so they sold out all of MetLife Stadium where the Giants and Jets play. And the stage was a huge circle in the middle. Then they had gigantic monitors, like maybe six up there with like crystal clear HD of the band, which was awesome. And I'm waiting for them to come on. Also, well, I'll talk about Pantera in a minute, but they were phenomenal too. Um, I'm waiting for them to come on. It's getting close to like when they should be coming on, and there is nothing set up on the stage. So in my head, I'm just like, they're Metallica. They're gonna make us wait because they can. And then the floor opens up and the drums come up. So they got me good. I feel like I probably should have seen that one coming, but
Did the drums move around on the stage? Because I feel like
uh
I saw a bunch of videos and like each time I looked, like Lars is in a different spot.
yeah, so yes and no. They moved around under the stage. So they would open
Nah,
back up, go under, and then pop up in like a different quadrant. Like if it was just like a big um what's the game with the lights? Simon?
that's right. I haven't thought about Simon in forever.
It reminded me of that, even though like it didn't quite light up in quadrants. It reminded me of a giant Simon board, and they would just go into a different quadrant like every half hour or so. Like I'm sure they had it mapped out so each side got the same amount of time. That was super cool. They they were great. The two nights no repeats thing was very cool, but it was also like less cool when they played songs you wanted to hear the other night, which we're used to with Phish because that's like their
Yeah,
entire business model. But so I didn't get Enter Sandman, but I did get Master of Puppets. I didn't get one, but I did get The Day That Never Comes. You know that song?
I
I
love
think it
that song.
I think it was in
Death
Rock Band.
Magnetic is very underrated. That whole
That
album.
song is one of my favorites. I probably spent a million hours with it on Rock Band or Guitar Hero, which is why I know it so well, but it's the same structure as one. Like, I mean, it starts heavier, but like it's got to be like a 6 to 8 minute song, and then it goes out with like the and then it like has all these solos. So I didn't hear one, but I heard like a parallel song to it, which was pretty cool. Um, they played Orion, which is an instrumental song, and this is back when
Off Master of Puppets.
yeah, and Cliff Burton was the bass player for that one. And
R.I.P.
yeah. And I spent like days of my life, like from the span of months, trying to learn that song on bass for so long because he plays it with like all this distortion. Like it has like a killer solo that you might even think is guitar, like if you don't know. So
Thought
like,
that on like For Whom the Bell Tolls too, like the beginning. I never knew that was bass until like later on in high school.
dude, the distortion he would throw on that thing, like it was crazy how he played it. But even though he wasn't the one playing it, Trujillo, like how I don't ever really say that name out loud. I
I
don't know
think it
if I
was
have
the
to
second way.
put the Spanish spin on it or not. Trujillo. Um, he
Let's
was
go with that one.
yeah, sure. Let's never try and say that again. He was easily having like the most fun out of everyone. Like I felt like James and Kirk and stuff, like even Lars to a degree, like you could tell they wanted to do good. Like they kind of, I felt like they had that thing in their head, like this is a big show, despite being a band for this long, like they wanted to play well. Whereas I felt like with the bass player, he was just having a great time. Like at one point, he was on some board just surfing throughout the middle of the circle and just like ripping his bass.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was smiling the whole time. They like wrote a jam just for the show. They named it something like Rose Street or something like that. And it was just him and James, I think. Just like going back and forth. It was cool. Like they had a lot of fun. They put on a great show. They started Nothing Else Matters, and then it wasn't that clean. So he stopped and he's like, you know what? He's like, I'm just gonna start this over because it's not good enough for me. So I'm gonna start it over. He just started that back at the beginning and like you better nail it the second time if you're gonna start it over.
And
It's a
they did.
dangerous game. Yeah, yeah. It was fun. Like I saw a lot of like headlines.
I was gonna bring that up.
Former guest of the show. We'll just leave it at that. We were grateful for his time, but like some of the headlines and like the articles are just so negative and it just it bugs me. Like I get being critical and like if you want to say it wasn't like the cleanest performance, go ahead, but I think the one line was like I've been to family barbecues with more energy. It's like why, man? Like they're
I
Metallica, dude.
don't think that's true.
They've no way. And it's just like it's so over the top. And I know you want the clicks and all that, but like it just this band just came through. They played 2 nights there. They've been together for like 40 years or whatever it is. And like they were so grateful. Every single one of them gave a thank you speech at the end and talked about how like playing, I think they said their first East Coast show ever was in Old Bridge. Like they're like, we are so grateful to New Jersey. Like they were so humble for a band of their stature and they really didn't have to be. So like to see like the state website, if you want to call it that, just like slam them. I don't know. It's just mean. Why you gotta be mean?
Yeah. So
Can't we all just get
like
along?
if we lose like East like New Jersey tour dates in the future, we know who to blame.
I would hope the band has been around long enough to not take like one critic to heart like that and
Yeah, they
focus
survived
instead.
Saint Anger. So
Yeah. Like focus instead on the thousands of sold out seats that you had, the tens of thousands, like, and I'm sure they do, but like, I don't know, just like bug me because it was a good time and it was a lot of fun. And I don't know, maybe they didn't nail every solo, but like, so what? They're human.
they've been doing this for over 40 years. Cut them a
Yeah,
break.
yeah.
The fact that they're still touring is like
But
that's all the credit, like not all the credit they deserve, but like that says it all right there.
yeah, 100%. But, you know, we are now talking about said article, so it works. If they just wrote Metallica came to town and it was great and everyone had fun, no one would care really. So that's just like the game. I get
That's
it,
like
but it's still disappointing.
I don't know if I should finish that sentence, but you know what I'm going to. So like 95% of those articles written by said person or they came to town and they played great. So that's why I was surprised to see
Oh,
that about Metallica.
well, and I mean, if that was his experience, but the barbecue thing was a little over the top.
Yeah, because there's 0% chance that's true.
Yeah, unless like, you have a really insane family. In which
Unless your
case,
family's
like,
like System of a Down.
yeah, invite me to your barbecues because it sounds like a good time. Yeah, Pantera opened and they were equally as awesome. Like I said it
Were
many
they
times.
wild?
I'm missing it. I'm missing it. Oh,
Zach Wild played with
yes,
them,
thank
right?
you. Thank you. You just got I was thinking of song names. Zach Wild was the man. He must have went through like five different guitars in like 10 songs. He had different guitars so much. He was ripping. Like Dimebag solos are insane. So like to even like be able to do that at all is so impressive. And the mosh pits were going crazy. They didn't play Cemetery Gates, which I was a little disappointed. Instead, they did like a video tribute. Um,
The drummer,
yeah, and Zach and
Daryl.
excuse me, Dimebag. And they played the intro to Cemetery through the speakers. So it was just like a recording. And I was convinced like when that song kicks in after like the long guitar squeal that the band was going to kick in, but that didn't happen. So
That would have been perfect if it did,
yeah,
but
yeah, it would have been cool. But they did
missed opportunity there.
like 5 minutes alone, This Love, Walk, obviously. Um, yeah,
God Bless
lot.
from Hell.
Yes, yeah. So good. It was so good. So that was a surprise because those tickets were gifted to us by a friend whose his uncle works for a bank. And the funny thing is, our entire row was empty except for me and Nicole. So I wonder if like they own all those seats and like no one wanted to go because we had good
Bizarre.
seats. We're like right there in the 200s and on the 50-yard line, and no one else was in our row. It was really strange.
Yeah, my
So
stepdad and stepbrother went night two, and they were happy with their set list because they got like Whiplash and For Whom the Bell Tolls.
yeah, they got Enter Sandman and
They
won.
did, and one. Yeah,
Yeah, and Blackened. Shout out Brian from Playlist Wars.
Brian finally got his Blackened.
Yeah, not Playlist Wars. That's the old one. Sorry, mixtape. My weekly mixtape. Um, give that a listen if you don't, because it's a great podcast. He was dying for Blackened. I was so glad he got it. He said he saw them like over 10 times and never heard that song. So he's really pulling for
He called it on this podcast. He's like, if they don't play it when I go
it.
both nights, then I'm never gonna get it.
Well, they sell the whiskey called Blackened. They have like their Metallica whiskey. So I felt like that was reason enough that they would probably play it, but I don't know if it's that
Do they
simple.
sell salmon too?
Hold on.
Blackened salmon.
I was thinking I was thinking enter salmon.
Also works.
No, no sushi rolls or any fillets were present. Uh yeah, it was a great time.
And then you got down with the Hickness.
I did get down with the Hickness, which amazing show. Like I we are just like giving negative energy attention, so I hate to go right back to it. But I feel like I need to say this. I realize maybe Disturbed isn't like the coolest band to some people anymore, but
Are
like
they in the butt rock genre?
I think I
I
think
forget who's considered butt rock and who isn't.
well, from my understanding, anyone considered butt rock is on radio stations that say we play nothing but rock. So like Metallica would be butt rock by that logic. Like Alice in Chains, Nirvana, like so I don't know if that's the exact criteria, but
I thought it was like
yeah,
late '90s, early 2000s, like
just like
not new metal, but in that group.
heavy rock. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, there were a few people like just like I don't know, say at work, like, oh yeah, I'm going to this show, and I get this laugh, like, huh. It's like, come on, man, they're a good band.
Everyone
Like, I
liked
don't know.
Disturbed back in the day. They might not anymore, but there was a point in Every person who likes rock music's life, or you like Disturbed.
Of course. And
You're
like,
lying to yourself if you say you never did.
yeah. And me and my uncle have been going to shows together since I was 13, and they were some of the one of the earliest bands we've been seeing. So I may not put them on for my regular listening, but I'll still go to their shows because it's a good tradition with him, and they still kill it. Like Prayer is an amazing song. Stupefy, like they have so much like good shit that's just like heavy rock, good choruses. They have this weird like he has this cadence to like how he sings. I don't know. I I had a great time, and he was he was the man. Like he gave this whole speech on depression and like addiction, and he was literally like crying on stage. It was crazy. He was talking about how like no one's safe from this stuff, and like talking about Chester and Chris, and he's like, if I'm being completely honest, he's like, I almost joined them a few months ago. He's like, but my son and you guys like kept me here, like
Oh
all
my
this
God.
stuff. It was really heavy, and like it was amazing. Like I don't know, you hear artists talk about that, but I feel like in that genre maybe you don't expect that like level of vulnerability. And like he was super open about it, and it was really something. And
Oh, the
breaking
song he played was "A Reason to Fight." Was the song?
yeah, yeah, it's like an acoustic one. And then he went into the speech, and it was it was really moving. And Breaking Benjamin opened, and they were the first band I like ever loved. So I knew every single song, I knew every single drum fill. Like,
And his son was on stage with him.
yeah, so he's lived in Ocean County for like 15 years, he said.
Did
Yeah.
not know that. Are they?
Yeah, me either. Because he
Have
was
they always been
from
from New Jersey?
no, he see, I know all his history because I love this band so much when I was younger. But he's from Pennsylvania, like Wilkes-Barre, PA. And but I guess he's lived in Jersey for a long time now. And he had his son on stage who was like pretty young. I'd say like he looked like he was like 12-ish maybe. Um and he had a guitar, but I was wondering if it was like the like controller effect, like you play video games with like your younger sibling or cousin, and you give them a controller that's not plugged in, and you're just like, yeah, you're playing, like it's cool. Like I couldn't tell if this kid was actually playing or not, but he was up there. He would yell into the mic occasionally, and like Ben, and he named his kid Ben, which is the least surprising thing I've like ever heard in my life. But he was teaching him like how to hand out picks to the front row and stuff. Like it was really sweet. And like I've seen them many, many times in my life. And the more recent times have always kind of felt like going through the motions. It was more just like for my own nostalgia, but this time, like they really brought it. And I guess with like your kid on stage, if that's not going to be one of the better shows you do, then I don't know what is.
It take the breath right out of you.
It did. It did. Oh, Brett. Took the Brett right out of me. They played so much off We Are Not Alone, which was really cool. Like they
And
didn't,
Phobia too. It looks like.
yeah, it was a killer set. It was really fun. And he let I don't know, it might be a weird way to say it, but like the bassist sung Follow, and then the guitar player sang a song too. I forget which one, which like I think was cool. I mean, I want to hear Ben sing, obviously, but for everything that band's been through, like him like basically like kicking out the entire band, whether or not
Even
that
though the
was
entire band was really good.
yeah. I mean, he was the songwriter, like he did like do it all from my understanding, and I don't know the whole drama with it. They let like a girl sing on a greatest hits album, and the rest of the band approved it without him, and he got mad. I don't know if that's the whole story or not. But my point is like for someone who I always kind of thought seemed like an egomaniac type guy, to now be with this band and like they're singing songs and stuff, like I just felt like it was growth for him. which was
I mean, he
nice to
has kept
see.
the same lineup since he kicked the original lineup out.
Yeah, so there must have been like a lot going on behind the scenes. I can't imagine he just over one thing like that kicked the band out. Like maybe they were towards the end and they like finished up a contract with a label and he was able to. I don't know. I don't know the story, but
Didn't they form like a different band?
yeah, it's I don't think it really went anywhere.
They didn't team up with the old 3 Days Grace singer, right? That's a different band.
I'm not sure. That would be cool and would feel like it would kind of make sense, but
I might
I'm
be
not
making that
sure.
up though.
His band's called Saint Asonia, but I don't know. I don't know who's in it. But yeah, when music has nostalgia like that and you love those songs, I don't care how much older you get. I'll never be too good for any of that music. And I was so psyched to be there. Not many bands can take you back to feeling like you're 13 again. So I'm holding on to that.
It's always fun when they do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So speaking of bands we've been listening to for a long time, the Front Bottoms put out an album.
We throw it to our past selves
Yeah, let's throw it to me and you
from
from
a
a
week
week
ago.
ago. We couldn't wait to talk about this. Well, we're gonna explain it to you in a minute. But yeah, I listen to this album like multiple times a day still. So I'm really in on it. So here's
Hoping we
us.
weren't too harsh
No,
looking back now.
I listened back today. I think I think it was good. I don't think we like bashed it. We questioned. I called it not fun a lot of times, but
I
I still
question the
like
auto tune.
kind of stand by it. I don't know. I've been having more fun with it to be honest, but it's definitely like a more depressing lyrically album. But we're gonna talk about it all right now, so I won't just like repeat everything we're gonna say. Um okay, here's us from the past. Okay. Is it time to talk about the front bottoms?
It's time.
Yes,
It's so time that we're doing this a week early.
we are. We are not recording the rest of the episode, but we need to talk about this album and we couldn't wait another week. So we're going to just clip this into the episode you're listening to. If we didn't say all this, you probably wouldn't even have noticed, but what fun is that? I got my front bottom shirt on. I'm ready.
I've got my Sam Adams shirt on for no reason at all. So,
Nice. For the beers.
oh, there we go. So it
Yeah,
doesn't make
boom.
sense. I should have thought about that one more.
Yeah, the front bottoms, New Jersey guys, North Jersey guys, put out their sixth studio album, You Are Who You Hang Out With, uh, last Friday. So that would have been the fourth. And I have many thoughts. Brett has many thoughts. This is a band we've more or less been with since the beginning. So it always feels a little more special and confusing when you talk about a band you've been listening to for a long time. Um, where do we start? Overall thoughts? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Still, I feel like it's like the gladiator thumb, but like
Okay.
it's leaning up, but it's not
Okay. Like a
folding up.
40,
It's not
45
like
degree thumb.
yeah. So it's like Town of the Hawk is this, self-titled is this, back
He's
on
thumbs
top is
upping.
this,
He's thumbs upping.
going gray is that.
Whoa, that is slightly below even. I didn't hate
In
going gray.
Sickness and Flames, that, and this one's
Yeah,
there.
I think that's a pretty pretty good way to look at it. It's different, but it's the same at times. Like it doesn't feel like a completely different band, but they did do some different stuff. I guess we have to talk about the auto tune.
It's been I've been like very closely just like almost typing out a fully loaded like book text to you just talking about the auto tune, but I've like contained myself luckily until this very moment.
So the auto tune is very jarring off the bat. Um,
I want to know why they felt they needed this on here.
I, if I can speak for the whole band because they've allowed me to. No, I view it as just a cool sound tool that they wanted to incorporate. I don't feel like he's using it as a crutch to fix his singing.
We know he doesn't need it.
I mean, he's not like notorious for his singing abilities, but that's what makes the front bottoms the front bottoms. The more I listen back, there's only auto tune on one, two, like three songs, maybe four. It's not even half the album, and it's not like I don't know. I just didn't think it was as prominent as it felt initially.
Yeah, I've noticed that with like for like there's one actually like I'm like I'll allow this auto tune because it kind of makes this song what it is like
Paris,
Paris
Paris, yeah,
Paris. I feel like that song wouldn't be what it is without the auto tune, so like I'll forgive it there.
yeah,
Emotional has it, and Emotional is like such a strong song, like I can kind of overlook it, but I also feel like it's not needed on that at all.
yeah. That was one they put out as a single when I decided I didn't want to dig into more
We skipped
singles.
it.
Well, I only listened to it once. And I was like, whoa, what's happening here? And then I just saved it for when it came out. But yeah, I don't know. The more I listen to it, like it bothers me less and less. There was one, Brick, which I think is one of the stronger songs on the album. And it feels like an authentic front bottom song for like the beginning. And then for like the pre-chorus, they do an auto-tune thing. And I remember
Yeah.
the first time I listened, I went, ah, like, stop. But I I don't still feel that way. I have to be honest. Like it is different. It is a little jarring, but I just don't think it's like he made a whole album with auto tune to sing better. It's just like if they started using a violin, which they do have on like some songs here, but I kind of viewed it more as just like a musical instrument rather than a crutch.
That's fair. Because like, do you want to hear my like initial thoughts when I first heard the auto tune?
Yeah, lay it on me.
So like, you ever like get the answers to a test like when back in like middle school or high school, and like to kind of throw the teacher off the scent that you had the answers, you might answer a few wrong.
Yes, I just watched the entire Boy Meets World episode about this last night.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like, I felt like that's what they were doing here. Like, I thought there was a lot of good things they did here, but they just sprinkled that in to make it like so it's not like on the level of their best albums.
Why?
But
Why would they
I,
do that?
I don't think they did it intentionally, but like
Oh,
that's the
okay.
kind of like how because I think they genuinely wanted to use auto tune, but it just feels to me like it's like it just they just threw that in there to like
Just do
just for
something
like shits
different.
and giggles, and it knocked it down a few pegs. And like I really like right now I put this alongside Going Gray, where like there's a handful of really good songs, but as a whole, it's not really one I go back to compared to like self-titled, Sound of the Hawk, Back on Top, In Sickness and Flames, where like you can listen to all those all the way through and probably not skip a song. And like Going Gray, it's like Vacation Town, and
I think you're
that's
giving Going Gray a
pretty
bad
much
rep.
it. I've never
You
connected
used to
with that one
say
though.
Vacation Town, Trampoline, Far Drive. Raining, I can't really remember. Grand Finale's an awesome song. Bay was whatever.
I think that might have been what.
But yeah, I don't know.
At first, I just never
I
clicked
like
with that
Going
one
Gray.
for some reason. But I love
Yeah,
Vacation Town.
yeah, yeah, that's a good one. For me, uh, it's kind of got me a little in a pickle. Um, I do enjoy it. I'm enjoying listening to it.
I am as well.
Um, but I feel like it's lacking like this sounds harsh, but it's lacking like fun. It's kind of a depressing album. And that's not like they don't have to make a fun album or anything, but it's just like usually with the front bottoms you have the heavier content songs, and then you have more of the fun songs like I don't know, like Skeleton or I don't know, Skeleton. The Beers is kind of fun, like whatever. Um
Peach or Peach or Peach Fun,
Peach. Yeah, Peach is fun.
right?
Yeah. Um this
Santa
just like
Monica.
this is like overall pretty heavy. There's not a lot of like light parts on this album. So I would have liked like one or two songs that were just a little more like goofy, maybe. But um I'm still enjoying it. And like when you look at their discography as a whole, like if you're viewing it as a whole, each album doesn't have to hit all of those parts if they have 5 albums with all this variety.
Exactly.
So yeah, it kind of works like both ways. I do miss Brian's like inflections, like the uhs and ahs, or like a repeated word here and there. Like I feel like he didn't really do that on this
They
one.
used auto tune instead.
Yeah, I don't know. We talked about Parry before. Heavy on the auto tune, but I think it's a really cool song. It gives me
It
like
is. Yeah.
super like Tom DeLonge vibes, like at the end when it's all like echoey and he's singing like that line over and over. It's a long song.
It is a lot. I think
Yeah,
it's one of the longest on
yeah,
here.
it's like 5 minutes.
I think it is the longest actually.
Yeah, it's gotta be. But it does feel like a heavier album. Like I wonder, like
Was this album their punching bag?
maybe Punching Bag. I also thought was a pretty depressing song.
But you feel better.
But
That's the point.
yeah, exactly. I'm not joking. Um, the lyrics, like overall, I feel like have to do, and this is, a week listening. So I could either be way off or I could be right, or I could still have a lot to learn, which probably like a mix. Um, just feels like a lot like kind of coping with like being in this successful band now and like because like what was it? He had one where I think it was Batman. He says like if it's irritating you the way I choose to sing, like so broke down, so hyper, so sensitive, like the truth is I've always been some sort of an embarrassment. Like I don't know, like he's really like down on himself this whole album. Like he calls himself a loser like in at least 3 songs.
I got to re-listen. I didn't
Yeah.
notice that.
It's he he's just I don't know, like that's why I'm saying like it's not fun because he's really like beating himself up on this album. But it's a good listen. It's just not fun.
So to piggyback off that, like part of like their music is like wanting to learn like every single word. So when you see them, you could just shout them all back at them as they play these songs. Like,
Yes.
were there any here that left you feeling like, oh, I can't wait to learn all the words to this one, or was that like
Um
lacking for you too?
Definitely Outlook. I learned the words to that like the
You
day
mark
it
that
came
down.
out. Yeah, I did. I was not distracted. Um, that song is awesome. Like the bridge to that.
It's so
Same
good.
old story. So distracted. Missed the exit. Circled back. Like that whole little block is awesome. In my heart, there's a hole. Fill it up with smoke. Oh man, that song
Talk
is
about
like,
nailing a single too
yeah, that
as
song
a
is
first single.
very like authentic front bottoms. That could be on any album and it would be fine. Great song. What else? I thought Brick had like a classic sounding for the most part. Uh, he just kind of like to bring it back to your question about the lyrics. He kind of repeats a lot of the lyrics throughout songs. Like in the past, like a chorus would be like certain lyrics for the first half of the chorus, different lyrics for the second half. And with this, he kind of just goes back to the same ones, which I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's fine. I just like expect more from them. It
I think
sounds
that's
so
fair
like,
because I mean that's
yeah,
they've got a decade's worth of material to go back on. You know,
yeah. What'd you think of Batman?
that was one of the ones I marked down with. I want to learn all the words to this one. I thought it was like
Yeah,
really clever. Like Batman raises his hands might take the picture to cover his face.
yeah. I thought that was lyrically like maybe the strongest song on the album. Because at
Yeah,
first, very first listen, like, I'm
you
just
think
like,
it's
oh,
a
is
jokey
this like
song?
a song about Batman? But then the more I listen to it, I'm thinking like Batman wears a mask, people don't know the real him, like,
Yep.
and
Peel back
like,
the onion a little bit.
yeah, it makes me think of the album cover too. It's like this blurred out face and then all these hands reaching for him. And it's just like I interpret it as you're being pulled in all these directions and like you don't even know like maybe who you are anymore or what people expect from you. Like here I am saying I expect choruses to be a certain way. Like, fuck you. Like
Yeah,
this is my band and my songs, and I don't owe anyone anything, which I feel like I he addresses a little bit throughout this album. Just that sort of like a clear path. He says like part of me can't get free doing the same things. And I don't know if it's part of me can't get free, comma, like I can't get free, I'm doing the same things, or I can't get free because I'm doing the same things. I guess it kind of has the same like meaning either
could
way.
go either way.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the more time I spend with this album, I just keep liking it more and more. It's just like in the middle of summer, like to defend my fun point, because I feel like I've been harping on that and it's meaner than I intended. It's just like if I'm blasting a front bottoms album in my car to like have fun and sing along to, this probably isn't the album that I would go to. This might be more like walking the dog at night and like, I don't know, questioning everything about my life.
Wasn't their last album kind of like this too? In Sickness, because I remember they had some darker songs than you'd expect on In Sickness and Flames.
Yeah.
Like like Montgomery Forever was fun, but like what's the song on there that like, gets
Camouflage.
the leaf where Leaf Pile gets pretty dark in the end?
Yeah, but that song is
That's
so
it.
heavy.
It's
That's
so
like
good though.
that's them going in a slightly different direction. I mean, not too far different. Like West Virginia's kind of like that too. But I love when they get heavy. They didn't really like bust out any heaviness on this album, like musically.
I thought just
Maybe.
wrote that down. On Clear Path, when the guitar electric guitar kicks in
Yeah,
like
yeah,
during the
yeah, yeah.
chorus. That's like the heaviest I thought it got, but maybe not joking a little bit too with the electric guitar, but it was mostly like kind of that old school guitar sound, like where you can. It was really just the acoustic guitar.
Yeah. And then they use a lot of like I think synth or it's a guitar with a pedal. Like I mean there's definitely synth and piano, but a lot of times listening I'm like what instrument is this? Like
Like on
just
Fake Gold.
yeah. Um
Were they
yeah,
really going to
that
call
yeah.
themselves Mass Shooter? Was that like a true? Is that true?
We have no way of knowing. That line is such a ridiculous one to open a song because I was playing this like in the kitchen the day it came out. And again, we're like making dinner and this is on, and I'm like, this is kind of a depressing album right now. And
Bringing the
finally
mood
that
down.
one comes on. I'm like, oh, this one's a little more like boppy, it's upbeat. And then like that line comes in first. I'm like, motherfucker. But was it that one? Uh which one we're talking about Clear Path? What's the
Fake
mass
Gold.
shooter one? Fake Gold.
Mhm.
That one kind of gave me like skeleton vibes, just like a lot slower. Because it
Like
has like
slowed
the
down
bop,
skeleton.
bop, bop, and skeletons just like that, but way faster. Yeah, like this whole album uses like tons of um things we've heard from the front bottoms before. And then there's some new things. And I think that's totally cool. 6 albums deep. They didn't just like completely change anything. They just were like, we're gonna try out some auto tune and maybe add in more synth and like there's like violin at the end of Finding Your Way Home.
Did that give you science fiction vibes?
Yes. Yeah, it did because of like you have like Brian doing like the his own harmonies, but he goes like baritone with them, so it's almost like Isaac singing in the background.
It was like I wrote that down too.
Yeah. And it gave me Historic Cemetery vibes from Back on Top with just like that like eerie synth and like
That's a great song too.
yeah,
The whole album, like that was
yeah. And that was like we just graduated college. That was just a
yeah.
great time. I saw
You
them
had three
do
great
that
albums
album.
that they toured.
I saw them at Vintage Vinyl. They did a signing and like played that album acoustic. It's pretty fun. I don't think you could really they really do those things anymore. They're too big. Well, also
Yeah, they
Vintage Vinyl is
played Red
gone.
Rocks on Friday night,
Yeah, and they came out to Sandstorm by Darude or
which
Darude,
is
whatever,
hilarious.
and then went right into the beers. Very cool.
Were you surprised by the new songs they picked, or you think they all made sense?
So what they do? Outlook, Brick,
Nope.
not
Going
Brick.
to Emotional Outlook, Punching Bag, Fake Gold, and Parry.
Um,
I thought Brick, Batman, or Clear Path would have been better choices, maybe, than Fake Gold.
yeah, I think Fake Gold would be I mean, we said before, like it's boppy, like it's one of the more upbeat ones. But I think Parry, especially, we're just gonna call it Parry, right? We're not gonna say
I'm just
Paris.
calling it.
All
I'm
right,
yeah.
cool. A little more weed next time. Um, that song is gonna kill live. Like, especially like at Red Rocks, that must have been awesome because that almost seems like it's more fit for like an arena
Yeah, it does.
than a club.
And we're
But
seeing them in a club, right?
I think so. I keep thinking we're seeing them at Starland and we're not.
I
I don't
wish
even know where we're seeing them.
somewhere in New York,
Yeah. Yeah, somewhere.
Webster maybe.
Yeah. Um, Not joking, had a great guitar intro and gave me back on top vibes too.
Yeah,
It's like that acoustic guitar with like a nice little like catchy riff over it. And like the opening line to that, this is the life that almost killed me. That lot whole song also has great lyrics. The curtain is closing, just clap.
so maybe we do like this a lot more than we originally said when we were texting the other day.
Yeah, well, we were being very vague because we tried hard not to talk about this until we got on the air. I do really like it. I
I do
just
too.
don't like it as a driving around in the summer windows down album, which it doesn't have to be that album at all. Like I think it's going to be even better come like the fall and winter, especially. But I'm definitely enjoying it. The auto tune I got over real quick because not it's not everywhere. It's like three songs, maybe four songs.
And it's really only, I would say, egregious just on one now. Like the other two, I'm like, all right, it's acceptable here.
What's it egregious on? Emotional?
Now I'm Brick.
Brick. What brick? They literally just use it for like before the chorus, just like
Isn't it like
oh.
towards the end, like they go like a little
Oh,
ham on it? I was like, they
uh,
didn't need to do this.
I gotta listen. I gotta listen back. I don't remember, but I didn't think it was like used that much in brick, but it might be. I have a question for you about the front bottoms.
I have an answer.
I hope you do.
Maybe.
Um, so they're a band like who are like notorious for like singing about like weirdly specific things and like I personally like it and everything, but you know, you always see those like Instagrams or TikToks or whatever where it's just like someone will be like, my pillow fell off the couch and a feather fell out, and they'll be like, what are these front bottoms lyrics? And then like someone like makes a whole joke about it. Like, I was in the grocery store and I saw you buy the pears and I wondered, like, people love like mocking them. And I don't think that it's in like a malicious way because a lot of times I just see it amongst the fans like this is too true, but like I still love them no matter what. So like, but I wonder if like they see those things or Brian sees those things and it makes him like question his lyrics, and that's why this album might be like lacking some of that. Is it lacking that?
I
Or
think
is it
it is
just
compared
growing?
to past albums, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because I can only think of like maybe like a handful of lyrics, and normally I can think of like
Yeah.
paragraphs.
There's nothing like overtly like corny, in my opinion.
No. Like I
He
like
he's
you
also
got
like,
hope tattooed on your throat, and I got respect on the side of my neck.
yeah, yeah, that's a good one. And that's not like corny at all. It's
No,
not like you are my peach, you're my plum, or I am washing my hair with soap.
what's the
I like those songs, by the way.
was it? I was your boy, you were my baby, you are my homemade mashed potatoes,
Potatoes,
biscuits, and
biscuit. Yeah.
gravy.
You were too good. I should have known. Yeah, like I don't know. I love
I
it
love
all. I
their
just wonder
lyrics
if
like that.
he sees those things and like it impacts how he writes. But he's also what? It's been 15 years since self-titled came out. I don't know. I'm throwing a number out there.
13?
Sure. Yeah. So
I think
like,
it's 2010, right?
yeah, you're
Or
a young 20-year-old and now
2011.
you're
No,
like,
it's 2011.
yeah, so you're thinking
Yeah.
of songs that like he wrote in his early 20s or maybe as like a teenager even. So like I don't expect the lyrics to stay the same. I just miss some of the like groans. And I don't think he said like uncomfortable once on this album, which is very disappointing.
That's been a staple on like everyone.
Yeah. Overall though, I really like it. I like it a lot. It's giving me a lot to think about. I'm still like learning new things with each listen and finding new things that are cool. Do a great job of like using like the synths and guitars to like mimic the vocal pattern. Like um which one was it? Is it Punching Bag? Might be Punching Bag. It's like bo do 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 do.
Or was that Clear
Clear
Path?
Path, Clear Path.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, there it is. I wrote it down. Um I'm enjoying it. I think it's a strong release. Like I think you can't expect a band to put out the same album they were putting out 13 years ago. And I still think that it's close enough that it sounds like I'm listening to the same band.
That's totally fair. Like I think it's also like it's a really solid album, like not their greatest by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not bad either.
Yeah, it's just a solid release. What songs would you like to hear live most?
Definitely emotional and outlook. And then I did have Brick or Batman.
Yeah, I think Finding Your Way Home would be cool. I'm not sure how it would work live. I mean, not that like it can't work live, but it's like it's a mood, you know? So I'm not sure
Yeah.
how it would fit into a show is probably more what I'm
And we'll
getting
get
at.
Parry, I'm sure, at the show.
Yeah.
I
And
still feel like
that
we might get Town of the Hawk in full at that one. I know that Starland show just completely like reset my expectations for a front bottom show, but I feel like it's at least on the table the last night of the tour.
it I didn't know it was last night of the tour. Yeah, we specifically picked the last night.
We did. Because when it was the last night of the tour at Starland, that's when they played self-titled in full
Yeah.
as a encore.
Yeah. And they were also back home. I mean, they're kind of home in New York, not quite, but
I'm just gonna blame the Starland booker for why they don't have a hometown show.
it's really bizarre. Because like again, I forget where we're even seeing them, but it can't be that much different in size than Starland. If anything, it'd
No,
be smaller.
and they just played Red Rock, so
Yeah.
it's a really big deal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did they have I mean, they were supposed to have Say Anything, but I don't think that happened, right? I didn't see any clips of Say Anything.
No, I don't know who. Let's see. Oh, they had. No, it can't be right. Oh, they had Kevin Devine.
Oh, that that checks out. Whenever any bands in this
Oh,
genre need someone, they just call up Kevin Devine and he's always down.
let's say anything was here.
Really? I It's weird I didn't see like a single clip. I mean, I didn't like look, but I still feel like they would have popped up at some point.
Played 7 songs.
Would they play?
So they opened with "Alive with the Glory of Love,"
Okay.
"Whoa," "Church Channel," "666," "Do Better," "Days," and "Every Man Has a Molly."
That's awesome. I'm not sure what Days is.
From the Oliver Appropriate, which they pitched as like a sequel to Is a Real Boy, but it was like
Uh,
nowhere near that.
yeah, that's like just like Max setting expectations to just
Like
like
way
make
too
himself
high.
miserable.
Yeah.
Oh
But I thought they
man.
were I didn't think they I guess he was out of the situation he was in.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so much shit that goes on that when something like that happens and it's more just like him hurting himself, it's easier for me to just be like, all right, this is something he has to deal with and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel like taking into that one. I like say anything too much to go out of my way to find out why I shouldn't like them.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Just hope he
They put
comes
something
to
out
peace with himself.
they put something out the other day asking for they put out an email and they said send any old clips or ticket stubs or anything you have of Taking Back Sunday of Say Anything from back in the day and send it to us. We're like working on something.
Does that include like 2012?
I was wondering that. I have the Is a Real Boy poster over here, but it's the stupidest size poster ever. It does not fit like any frame. I hold
The
on.
very say anything move.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
Nick's getting the poster. Let's see if he
All
cuts
right.
this.
This is for if you're watching on YouTube. This is the poster. It's very cool. I literally had to break a frame and I don't have a top or another side because it just doesn't fit. So I can't hang it. It just sits lays against my wall.
That's such a say anything move to like, let's not get a normal poster size.
It makes no sense. I'm sure I could probably just like Amazon the dimensions. Like a frame must exist for this size, but the fact that I can't go to Michael's and find a frame that fits this poster is absurd. And it's been almost 10 years that I've had it sitting here like this. uh
Yeah, because it's like 20, it'll be 20 soon.
yeah. So weird. It was a great show though. But yeah, I give this album all the thumbs up and I look forward to listening to it more. And I think it's gonna fit in real nice with all their stuff.
I think it's going to be a tier two album. Tier one being self titled
The first
Talon,
three. Yeah. It's hard
and
to even
maybe back
like
on top, tier one,
I'd
or would
yeah,
that
I'd
be tier two?
I'd put it tier one.
Yeah,
I thought Batman felt like a song that could have been like off like the grandma albums. Like
it sounded like it.
it
Yeah,
feels like stripped down, really like um specific while being vague. Like it makes you think enough. Like you sing about something else, but you know he's singing about something else. And I just love that they can still put a song like that on an album this late into their career.
so they've pretty much got a mostly impeccable discography. Going Gray, I have my internal battles with, but there's
It's
still
the
enough there where it's decent.
My internal battle with Going Gray is that it's the only vinyl by them that I can't find. And I would have all their records if not for that. And now this new one, but just can't find Going Gray. I even tried to buy it from their site. I was so desperate and it sold out on their site.
That's surprising. I feel like this one would be easy to find.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm Going Gray, not the new one. The
No,
new one
that's what I
I'm
mean.
gonna try and find in the wild. I don't like buying vinyl online. It's not fun. Although I mean, we're going off the rails here, but um Swimming by Mac turned uh 5 years the other day.
I see it
And
behind you.
yes, and they did like this huge drop like of merch, like Vans put out shoes for it and like all these new shirts, but they released his Tiny Desk concert on vinyl.
That's really
So
cool.
I
That was
threw
a
a
really
pre
good Tiny Desk concert too.
yeah, I threw a pre-order on that. I have no idea when it's gonna come. I don't even care. It's gonna show up one day and it's gonna be really exciting. But yeah, we could talk about that more when we do the episode next week. But I'm glad we're able to get all of this off our chest because it was a lot to think about with a band that means so much to us. I'm glad they're still doing good, and I can't wait to see them.
Like this might be the longest we talked about a new album this year.
It feels like it. I mean, I don't know how long we've been going, but at least 20 or 30 minutes maybe. Oh well. Hope everyone likes the front bottoms because
Like only Blink 182 will be longer if that comes
yeah.
out this year.
Oh, that's another thing. Now we're just doing the whole episode, but whatever the rumors are for Blink's new album name, if you search that on Spotify, it brings up Blink 182. So everyone's now thinking that means the album is coming soon.
What's it called?
Uh, I wasn't prepared. That's not what it's called. That's the name of our show. This podcast is called I Wasn't Prepared. Pulling it up,
Generally,
pulling
we're
it up,
not prepared.
pulling it up. More Than You'll Ever Know is what people are searching on Spotify, and it's bringing up all Blink stuff. So we shall see.
That is really interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so correction. More Than You'll Ever Know is supposed to be the next single, not the album name.
That was promised in June, and it's
June.
now almost September.
And Travis said the album was happening in October. We don't, I mean,
Still
it's not,
could.
it still could, but we've had 10 months of edging. So is this either the most elaborate joke ever to just release a single called Edging and then not release another single for like a year? Because that would be really good. That would almost make it worth it.
It's up their alley. So, like, part of me thinks maybe this is part of the plan now, but I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know if we're giving them too much credit. I don't know if they're this clever, but regardless of whether or not it was intentional, we've only had a song called Edging for almost a year.
After they did a world tour before dropping the new album or playing
Yeah.
anything else off said album.
Oh, Blink, give us the album. Give us another single. I think they have to release another single that is now like the way to artsy song. You know they're gonna have at least one with Tom being Tom. So they gave us Edging, which was like straightforward, like Blink formula. Now this next one has to be one that completely splits the fan base in half, and then give us the album. That's marketing done by general admission. So I don't know if they'll listen to us, but I think it'd be a good idea.
I mean, we've been talking about this since the beginning of the podcast, so
It's true.
maybe we'll summon the album finally.
I want it. I want it real bad. I can't just keep edging like this.
For 10 months.
Oh my God. Uh, so we're back to our future selves. Uh, we tried to sneak in seamlessly to how we ended our talk 6 days ago. I don't know if that was smooth. We're gonna find out when it plays back. But
Find out in producing.
yeah,
Production.
yeah. I'll do some I'll do some editing. I'll just play all of edging. Or I'll just play the first 10 seconds over and over and over and over.
Get the rope.
Oh God. You want to do skip repeat?
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay. I'm thinking we do a skip, then a repeat, a skip, then a repeat. This way we don't end on a skip.
I like that plan.
All right. All right. You want to go first?
Sure.
I know you've been holding this one in.
Since yesterday. So my skip this week is canceling your Sirius subscription online So
Oh, online. This changes everything.
I think this is probably why I had a bad experience, but I just assumed it's like most apps where you can just go online, cancel subscription, that's it.
Oh, you
Nope,
sweet summer child.
nope. You go to it asks you like three different times, are you sure you want to cancel? And then like the next button is talk to a representative. I was like, okay, so I guess I have to like call someone. No, it opens a little chat box, which you would think would make it a little easier because like they can read what you're saying and reference it and not ask you the same question three different ways.
Just type
But
cancel
no,
account in all caps over and over and over.
yep, it got to that point, which I'll get to. But so they're like what changed? I was like, honestly, like I don't use it that much. It's not worth my money if I'm barely using it. And because like kind of like the long version of this is like, so for the longest time I didn't have unlimited data on my cellular plan, and we finally got new phones in February, and we're finally joined the 2020s of having unlimited data.
What
So
happens when
now I
you
could just
run out
listen
of
to,
data?
they charge you a lot
Oh,
when you
does
go over.
did they tell you?
Yeah, but if you're on Wi-Fi, you don't burn any. So like by
Okay.
working from home and
Yeah,
all that, we never really went over.
gotcha.
But now we have unlimited, so like I can just use Spotify wherever, whenever, and like download stuff I want to listen to if I know I want a service. But anyway, that's the point. That's the reason of why I'm finally coming around to canceling Sirius because like that was there to save my data, but I don't really need to do that anymore. So anyway, I'm I explained that to him and like okay, and then he asked me again. He's like, "So why are you canceling?" I was like, "Well, if you scroll up a little bit, you'll see that I'm not using it that much anymore, and it's not worth the money." He's like, "But what if we keep you on at $6.50?" I'm like, A, that's what I'm paying now. B, can you just please cancel my account, please? And he then asked a third time. And I just, and then, so as nice as I could, I'm just like, please cancel my account. And he finally did. But
And then they
I did not.
fired him.
And then that was, and now Sirius is RIP. But I know like it's not like you've had much better experiences with them than I have. Like I know you mentioned like they offered you like $1 a month to try to keep you.
Almost, yeah. My serious thing was always every 6 months I would call and then I'd say I want to cancel and they'd offer me a better plan. And then it got to the point where I'd just say, hey, instead of doing this whole talk, can you just give me the rate I was getting? And they'd say, okay. And it would come out to like uh I don't know, like $50 for 6 months or something like that, which is still I learned later was high because when I really did cancel it, I go straight to the phone call. And when I really did cancel it, they took me all the way down to $3 a month to try and get me to stay, which almost worked because that is like not anything really. And
No,
but out of principle, it's like no, I called to cancel, I'm canceling. So it worked. But now I got a new car, so I get it for like 6 months again. They're
I'm
they're a weird company.
yeah, and it's not the greatest. Like I mean, I like it for the Phish channel. But like if you listen to like the '90s station or like the what's like the rock ones, they play the same
Um
songs over
yeah,
and over.
lithium, octane, turbo,
Yep, Lithium
uh
was the one I was thinking of.
yeah,
Like every
lithium's
time I'm in the car with Sandra, I'm like, we always hear this when we're in the car. Like we don't drive around that much.
yeah, lithium's really bad with it. At least like octane, while I don't like really love their song choices, they do switch it up and try to promote new artists and stuff. So that's at least
That's
kind of
nice at
cool.
least.
And Sirius XMU is kind of nice when I want to just hear like weird bands that I never heard of. But it's I don't know, it's really not worth it. My
No,
biggest
make
draw
my
for
own
me with
damn playlist.
yeah, my biggest draw for me with Sirius is I could just have a Fish jam happening as soon as I turn my car on. But that's not really worth the money. At least
When
uh
there's live Fish.
when they had Barstool, there was like shows I wanted to listen to and stuff, but they don't even have a station anymore. Like there's no talk stations or anything, so it's not really worth it.
I'm sure they're not doing that well.
No. And I think Howard Stern's gonna like retire pretty soon. And I feel like he's keeping like a lot of
The
people
lights on there.
above 50, like very subscribed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
yeah.
that was my not to like complain too much, but it's just
No,
like
that's
I
what
don't
it's
get
for.
why
That's
like
why we're skipping it.
yeah. It's like that and the cable company make it almost impossible to cancel.
Yeah, it's brutal. And I don't care that we sound old right now. Those are brutal. Don't even get me started on cable. All right, so I'll do my repeat or you do your repeat because it doesn't really matter.
Up to you.
Okay, I'll go. My repeat for the week is Taking Back Sunday played a house party yesterday, a backyard party in Long Island.
That might have been a
And
music video too, right?
yeah, yeah. So I think that was the reasoning behind it, but it was like invite only, friends and family. It was in one of the guys in I Am the Avalanche, his backyard.
Was it Vinny?
It wasn't Vinny.
It wasn't Vinny.
I mean, it might have been actually. I don't think I saw a name. I saw someone say the name. I feel like Dubin, Mike Dubin. I don't know if that's like
He's from the book.
he was in the book.
Yeah, he helped them name a lot of the songs on Tell All Your Friends.
Oh, I thought that was Neil Rubenstein. That was another one, I guess.
He tried to take credit for a lot, but
He
which
he
which we'll
tried
get
to he
into
tried to take
when we
credit
talk
for
about the
a
book
lot.
next week, but
Yeah, so
might be my least favorite character in the book so far, but we'll get into that next week.
it was either Mike Dubin's backyard or he organized the show or what. But yeah, it was a backyard show. Just they were like on a deck. There were huge light fixtures up. So I'm very curious, like what the deal was with neighbors. Like I would hope the neighbors were just cool enough that they were down for it. But
Like just
like
play Q without the E and we won't call the police.
deal. Yeah, it looked nuts. People just falling all over each other. Like we spent last week like waxing poetic about basement shows, and this was essentially one of them. And I was just so jealous. Like even if we knew about it, we wouldn't have been able to go. So like it's
No.
not like there's too much FOMO in that regard, but it looked so awesome. And it I think it did turn out that it was for a music video, but they still played a concert in a backyard.
Yeah.
So I don't care if it was for a music video. It's not like they hired actors to like have a good time moshing and played one song. They put on a
They were
show.
very into it.
Yeah, it was nuts. It
Like they
was
got so
nuts.
into it that like John Nolan just spun his microphone around and just let them sing and just like kept playing guitar.
Oh my God. It's amazing. And especially if it was like invite only, like they knew everyone in that crowd. So because some of the crowd surfers were like big dudes, just like literally like bodies on top of bodies, which could be, I don't know, scary for a band. We talked a million times about the Less Than Jake show, how they were like, maybe back up a little. But like, if you're just like, oh, there's my cousin and there's like our friend Steve, like it's fine. You
Yeah.
trust these guys for as much as you trust your friends to not be idiots. But like,
That's why Adam was like in the people
yeah,
in the video. Like he didn't
yeah,
care.
it looked so fun and it just made me so happy. Like this band's been around for so long. They've had great albums. They've had albums that I didn't love as much. Like just that they're having so much fun and it's the original lineup, like all this stuff,
Minus Eddie.
minus Eddie. Uh,
Gotta get him
well,
back.
yeah, yeah, he's got to get himself back, it sounds like,
Yeah.
but I don't know the details. But yeah, it was killer and it was so fun. I need to look up more videos from it. Hopefully there are ones. So I just saw one video circulating, which I won't turn this into too much of a rant because like I've been ranting a lot this episode. I know the internet's kind of like a free for all, but how come all these accounts can just post videos that aren't theirs? Like, should we just start like stealing videos? Like, we work hard to like make content and then put it together and share it. And I'm seeing other like places just like post clips from interviews that they didn't even do.
Yeah. That's a
Like, oh,
huge
can we just
problem right
post
now.
Zane Lowe interviews now? Like, is that how we grow this thing? Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know if that'll change or if
I
like
think
where
it's
free
just
use, it's like a blurry line with free
yeah.
use.
I mean, I know it's the internet and like everyone takes everything, but it's just I saw that like I had at least 5 friends send me that video and it was all from different sources. I'm like, were any of these people like there? Like, should I just screen record this and share it so people can share our page?
Be like great show this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. I should just how funny would that be? Like share a show from like London and then share a show from like Long Island like within 6 hours. Like, man, I've been having such a good time at these shows. Just wait for someone to catch on. But yeah,
It'd be a
just
good experiment to do.
yeah, it would be. Uh yeah, just small internet gripe. But you know, without those videos going around, we wouldn't have seen it. So who the hell knows? Um,
Hopefully, new album from them on the way.
yeah, definitely. I guess I should do my skip now, and then we could end on your repeat.
Yeah, so we end on a high
Um,
note.
um, my skip is gonna be. We talked about this. This isn't like super new, but Dave Grohl announced more like an extended version of The Storyteller, which we read and loved. And this extended version is, from my understanding, the same book with just like more.
I think
I
so.
I don't want to buy the same book again,
I
but
just want those new
I want to
chapters.
yeah, I want to know the other stories. It's just it's like we've talked about deluxe albums and how they drive us crazy, and I feel like this is the book equivalent. Like maybe offer some sort of discount if you have the book, or if it's on like an e-reader, you could just update it. Like I'd pay $5 to update it, and that probably isn't even like proportional to the cost of the book versus what I'd be getting. But I don't want to buy the same book again.
No, I'm sure no one does really.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the Instagram comments, and there were a decent chunk that were like, it's kind of like shitty for everyone who like bought the book and has the book.
Yeah, like you should be able to send like your like the barcode and at least
Yeah,
get the new chapters like sent to you in like a PDF or something.
yeah, that's a good idea. It just you know he can. It's okay. Like we love Dave,
He might
and
make it right, but I haven't
yeah,
seen anything yet that shows
yeah.
they're gonna
Overall,
do
he's
that.
done so much good that like this is small potatoes, but it was a little frustrating. So I'll be skipping this unless I find a way to borrow it from someone. I'm not going to pay for the same book again.
No,
Uh,
definitely not.
I'll gladly buy a new one full of new stories for sure.
Yeah, storyteller. You should have saved those for storyteller part two.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird. Weird decision. All right. One more. We have your repeat for the week. I think I
My
know
repeat,
what it's going to be.
which came across our plate today, which is a good thing we decided to record today and not yesterday, else we would have completely missed this until next week.
Yeah.
But the Menzingers finally gave us a release date for their new album while dropping the second single off said album. So it's going to be called Some of It Was True. Comes out October 13th, which is Friday the 13th, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
My sister's getting married that day.
Oh,
Yeah.
got a
I
pregame to
I
Some
think.
of It Was True,
I think that's the
which
day.
probably isn't the greatest pregame music, but
Walk down the aisle to when I'm here, I want to be there.
to Hope is a Dangerous Thing,
Yeah, that was
which is the new single
the new
today.
single. Hope is a dangerous thing. Did you like it? You said, I mean, it's on your repeat. You said you were listening to it today
I
on
was.
repeat.
It's funny. I thought like it reminded me of like a little bit of like Celtic rock, a little bit. Like there were like little hints of that. And then ironically, there's a song on here called Alone in Dublin. So maybe it's a
Ooh,
theme, but
ooh,
but
nicely
it was
done.
more great storytelling. And it kind of sounds like he took his solo stuff and carried over that to the Menzingers. So I'm curious to see how the rest of this sounds. But word on the street is this is a very good album from people who I guess had advances. Like they're comparing it to Rented World, so I'm excited to
Nice.
see if that's true or not.
Yeah, so far so good. Both singles are great. This one I'd like to hear in the context of the album. I feel like the other single was stronger, like just by itself. But
Agreed.
but after hearing you, I need to listen back and pay more attention to the lyrics, it sounds like, which is a theme this episode.
And ironically, I think the theme of the album, because I think it's like some of their experiences, but also like other people's. So I guess some of it
Hmm,
is true from their perspective, and some of it's storytelling. So
cool. Cool. How did you find out about this release date? Did they officially announce it, or is this your it did get officially announced?
they did officially put it on their Instagram and Twitter,
Because
but Bandcamp spoiled it,
Brett did some crazy like investigative work and had this release date before maybe even the band did.
which is the perks of Bandcamp. So I should probably start following more artists on here if I get like advanced news like this. But like I guess like apparently whenever you upload something to Bandcamp, like it shoots out notifications to like anyone who follows you. So I was alerted before the announcement went up that this album was coming out October 13th, and the full track list was there with lyrics attached. So I'm like, I can't click these lyrics.
Whoa.
I think they finally fixed that. I don't think you can
Oh,
read them
okay. Yeah.
anymore, but
It
they were
seemed
all up this morning. I was
wow.
like, this is definitely not supposed to be here, but
That's funny. I'm glad they fixed that. And you could also just buy it on Bandcamp for $8.
you could.
That
You could get it
Bandcamp
that
money.
day.
Look at this is the summer of Bandcamp,
It
or
really
the
is.
month of Bandcamp at least.
And also they have a song called Ultraviolet, so we're getting another
Another Silverstein.
Ultraviolet.
Wasn't it Silverstein who put out a bunch of their songs were other songs too? Or
I
no,
think
that was
so.
or maybe that was also the summer of misery
That was
last.
Misery, the Summer of Misery,
Yeah. I have one more quick repeat. Story of the Year announced the Page Avenue tour, and it's hitting Starland
but without 4 Years Strong.
without 4 Years Strong, but with Youth Fountain and We the Kings. And We the Kings has three very good songs that I will be very excited for. Check Yes Juliet, Skyway Avenue, and I don't know, maybe they just have two songs.
That's
But
why I wanted 4 Years Strong there.
yeah, yeah, that definitely would have been a little better, a lot better, but it'll be cool because We the Kings, I used to see them at Bamboozle, like side stages, and hopefully their lead singer still has that big mop of red hair, and it'll be a good little nostalgia fest.
Are they in the book?
No, I think the book ends before them. It touches on some bands that, well, I don't really want to spoil much, but it touches on bands that came later that maybe didn't have to do the same grind. I'll just say that much. And whether or not they are one of those, I honestly don't know, but if I had to
Was the Day to
guess,
Remember one?
uh no, they weren't in the book either.
We got to get the author on,
Yeah,
Mr. Payne.
yeah, I would love to. That would be cool. Um, yeah. So tickets for that go on sale, I think Friday. So if you're listening to this Thursday, the general on sale. I scooped up pre-sale because I'm crazy, but I just like the peace of mind. But yeah, Friday, those tickets go on sale. Finally, a show at Starland.
They've been slacking. I mean, it's cool that they're getting Bad Religion, but
There's also the
that's
Thursday
such a
show.
busy part of the fall when we're seeing shows. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting a little tired. Not like sick of shows, but just I could use a light fall maybe. We'll see.
as long as those hotelier tickets sell.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna go to that. I have a friend at work who would gladly take them, so we'll talk off air.
Yeah,
Or if anyone's listening, highest bidder. No, just kidding. But no, no,
that's what it is right now.
no.
But things change.
Just
We
a
got a couple
little, just
months.
a little. We can't become what we hate. Shout out Midtown.
Yes,
Yeah, there we go.
there you go.
All right. That's gonna do it for this week. We love you all. Book club next week for sure. Do we have any albums next week? I feel like no one's putting out albums anymore.
It's our
No?
last dead week though, and then we have like 3 straight weeks with a bunch coming out. But I think we
Nice.
might get a Slipknot live at the Garden on Friday, unless that's just a vinyl release. I'm hoping it's digital because I really want to listen to that.
That'd be
But
cool.
I mean,
Yeah,
we're not gonna really have much to talk about a live album, but still be
that's
fun to
right.
listen to.
Yeah, maybe we could find an album that's having like an anniversary or something. Talk about that. I'm
We'll have
sure.
our book where we can talk about a lot of albums.
Yeah, yeah, we could do a whole book club episode if we want. I'm sure we'll have no shortage of things to talk about because we always find things to talk about. Hell yeah. That's gonna do it for this week, for real this time. We love you all. Thank you for listening. Follow us on Instagram, and we'll see you next week.
Marco Esquandoles.